Right, this introduction for our next speaker, I've been dying to say this. So our next speaker is Andrew Middleton. Andrew Middleton was a candidate for the No Mandatory Vaccination Party in the 2021 state election. According to the worst Australian newspaper, that kitty litter outlet who can't do their job properly, he chased Chairman Mark McGowan down the street, main street of Kalgoorlie, yelling obscenities. Unfortunately, this was fake news. But he's here today to expose West Australia's Labor's anti-democratic electoral reforms. Welcome, Andrew, everybody.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed the Worldwide Rally for Freedom in Perth, the 16th time that we've held such a rally. We, of course, link arms with like-minded, freedom-loving people all around the world. So well done for coming out, and thank you to the organisers for putting it together as well. It's the first time that I've had the chance to speak at a rally, a worldwide rally for freedom, but I have done a lot of speaking up north as a part of, yes, state election campaigns, federal election campaigns, beautiful people up in Geraldton, Karratha, Port Hedland. But yeah, I also emceed the December 1st, 2021 rally at Parliament House. You might remember that was the date when the essential services were required to get a vaccination to enter their workforce. It was an amazing day that, and I was so humbled to be the MC that day and so humbled to speak to you today. So the WA state election, there was a piece of legislation which amended the Electoral Act of 1907. This was passed not long after the double majority that WA Labor won at the 2021 election. 6 times Mark McGowan said that electoral reform was not on the table. Well, funny what a double majority does to a government, makes them drunk with power. So there's a lot of press about these electoral amendments, specifically regional representation being lost. So this is in the upper house of WA Parliament, also referred to as the Legislative Council. We used to have 6 regions, three of them in regional electorates, 3 of them metro. Labor got rid of them. So that also came with registration requirements changing for minor parties, specifically that they had to get registered 12 months before election day. Why 12 months? We didn't get an explanation for that. That's just what Labor decided. And of course, a lot of minor parties who usually contest elections struggle to get themselves registered in that short time frame, particularly when people's voters' minds are not in an election cycle 12 months from election day. So that made me look into what the rules were for independents, because I hadn't heard what the situation was. Well, like the minor parties, an independent candidate to appear above the line on the ballot requires a group of 5 candidates. Now, just to give you a bit of a refresher what I mean by above the line, the upper house ballot is that really wide ballot. You usually struggle to fit it into the ballot box when you go to vote. Above the line is where all the parties are named. And if you vote above the line, you're voting for that party. If you choose to vote below the line, you can vote for individual candidates. So you could vote for one candidate from, I don't know, One Nation, one from the Liberal Party that you might like if you really scrape the barrel, and so on and so forth. So with that in mind, I looked further into this group of 5 requirement. It used to just be a group of 2. Now a group of 5. What's the candidate nomination fee gone from? Oh, $250 per candidate to $2,000. That's right. And not only is that $2,000 for the candidate, but it's for each candidate in the group of 5. So that's $10,000 just to get an independent group listed above the line on the ballot paper. I had a feeling that the real rate of inflation was a little bit undercooked, but 700% increase, yeah, there you go. That's Labor's rate of inflation for you, and of course that's all WA Labor does, drive up prices. So this group, the group requirement for independent candidates, it also came with a requirement for 250 declarations of support. And upon reading this, I thought, well, that's got to be just for the group as a whole, right? 250 declarations of support versus 500 members that a political party requires. No, I get in touch with the WAEC. They tell me that the 250 declarations of support are required for each of the 5 candidates in the group. And they need to be unique signatures. So you can't get 250 signatures from the same 250 people for each 5 candidates. You need 1,250 unique signatures. And I had to double check that. I'm like, that cannot be in the intent of the legislation. Surely if 250 is for the group as a whole, no, it's for each candidate. And I made the point to the WAEC, well, that means that if an independent group wanted to contest every seat in the Legislative Council, and there's 37 seats in the next term, they would require 9,250 declarations of support. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Wow. So this all amounts to the biggest stacking of the deck against a little guy running in the upper house, which of course is always the best chance for a minor party or an independent to win a seat. So you'd think that given these electoral amendments were passed in 2021, that the WAC would be ready to go. And these declarations of support, which need to be signed on and what's referred to as an approved form, that's a form created by the WAC. I asked them, I can't quite find this form on your website. Is it available? Would you be able to send it to me? Oh no, we don't have the approved form ready. And we don't know when it will be ready, but it shouldn't be any later than October. Now, keep in mind that the next WA election is on the 8th of March 2025, and you're needing to get these declarations of support and your candidate nomination in a few weeks prior to that. So it's pretty much only given you 4 months to get your declarations of support. All of this, it reminds me of the famous phrase in this country, this is democracy manifest. This, and it really fired me up just like that gentleman who was trying to enjoy a succulent Chinese meal. And I am very much keen to look into how we could tackle these laws, but also what the ability is to actually run a successful campaign under them. I'm not someone who will back down from a challenge, and I will hopefully have some news on this front in the near future. Now, I just want to speak about, because I know that a lot of people don't view the political solution as a effective solution, and certainly with these rule changes, it only adds weight to that. But having run in elections myself, having campaigned at the polling centres, I can tell you there's more than just winning a seat that you can achieve in an election. Number one, you can get democracy happening at that grassroots level just by the ability to speak to voters. If you're a volunteer at a polling place, you get the ability to look people in the eye and tell them what you're about, and they might not vote for you at the time, but it might have weight in the future. A good example, when I was running for the No Mandatory Vaccination Party, the common response we'd get from voters is, no mandatory vaccination. Vaccination isn't mandatory in this country. Yeah, I bet they're feeling a little bit foolish now. And of course, we already have mandated vaccination in this country, childcare centres, family tax benefit, etc., etc. But furthermore, the other criticism that I hear, if you win a seat, you're only one seat in Parliament. And that's true. And if you're in the upper house, if you're not holding what's called the balance of power, then your vote is unlikely to be the difference in whether legislation changes or not. Understand that. But there's still value in us getting representation in our Parliament. A great example of that is the Honourable Sophia Mormont MLC, who'll be speaking later today. She made history during the mandates as the only politician in WA Parliament to hold the line. She didn't get the jab and didn't provide any proof of vaccination, so she got banned from entering WA Parliament, and absolutely deserves a round of applause. Well done, Sophia. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know that these are really difficult times. We've got digital ID coming at us, and we've got World Health Organisation pandemic takeover of national health policy, and it's all very concerning. I prefer to focus on the state political scene as much as I can. I feel that it is accessible to us and it is a way for us to make a difference. And the fact that WA Labor has stacked the deck against us probably only proves that. And the other thing which I obviously fought for under the fought against with the No Mandatory Vaccination Party were the tyrannical sections of the WA Public Health Act, specifically Section 158. We can't just sit back and just let that legislation still be in place. We've got to find a way to repeal, amend, get rid of all these draconian measures. Because as Ben Falconer mentioned in the recent Supreme Court case, what the mandates were created off, that legislation is still in place. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm up for the fight. I hope you are, and I hope to see you again at these events soon. Thank you.